Hey rock stars! Happy Let's Talk It Out Thursday! All right, so on the Tuesday tips this week, I shared this phenomenal video about the difference between empathy and sympathy. So check that video out. I feel it just explains the two very well. And the way I explain it is, empathy is when we validate emotions. And so many times, and I know I really have to catch myself at times, we want to fix things and we want to fix emotions and we feel like we should just be happy all the time. And yes, that would be great if we could just be happy all the time. But honestly, sometimes crappy things happen and traumatic things happen, and just we need to cry and we need to feel sad. And having someone say, yeah, that sucks. Simple as that, simple sentence can really validate our emotions so we don't have to feel shameful and we don't have to feel guilty for feeling what we feel. And so as rock stars, knowing the difference between sympathy, which I kind of relate to wanting to fix things, wanting to, throw in those cliches, everything happens for a reason. And there is definitely a time, there's definitely a place for those. And I definitely throw them out to myself when I'm having a difficult time, when I'm struggling. I'm always trying to remind myself, okay, everything happens for a reason and all those wonderful cliches. But there's also a time for that empathy and just allowing people to feel what they feel, no matter if you don't like it. We've all been there. I know that I had this family come up to me, good family friends come up to me a couple years ago, and they had family friends of theirs that just lost their father, her husband, to suicide. And it was very unexpected, and this family just kind of closed off. They didn't really want any help. They didn't know, they just kind of closed off. And so my friends were asking me, well, what should we do? What do we say? How do we handle this? Because we know they're grieving. We know they're hurt. What do we do? And I will be honest, at first I was like, I don't, oh no, what's that perfect response? Come on, kid, think. And then, it hit me. Just validate their emotions. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to make them happy. If you see them, just say, it sucks. This sucks. And that's sugarcoating it. Just validate their emotions. So this week, rock stars, just be mindful of that. For ourselves, validate your own emotions. So often I see in people, and especially in my clients, they have this guilt, they have this shame attached to certain emotions, especially negative emotions. And we have to be able to stop that shame, to stop that guilt, and to say, hey, your feelings are your feelings. Let's talk about them, sure. But don't feel guilty for being a human being. And so, we have to also be mindful of that in our own lives. Are we shameful over certain emotions? Do we kind of put more pressure on ourselves when we're sad? Yeah, we don't want to be sad, but sometimes we have to be. And then knowing our coping skills and knowing where we can go. And so be mindful of yourselves, rock stars, but also be mindful of the people in your life. And I always say, if you are stuck, if you don't know what to say to someone, just validate their emotions. That's empathy. So just empathize with them, validate their emotions, validate what they're going through, and then just see what happens. Yes, it may be awkward just sitting there in silence, okay? But just sit there. Sometimes there's not the right thing to say. Sometimes you just have to sit. Scary, huh? So the tool to talk it out this week is empathy. So hashtag empathy, hashtag Therockstarprogram, hashtag be mindful. and hashtag validate emotions. Rock stars, thank you so much for your support. Mwah. I hope you really enjoyed last week's episode with the fabulous Megan Pennington. I hope you rock stars are going to have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week. I know the Super Bowl is coming up. I hope it's a good game. Excited for the commercials. I love you, rock stars. Mwah. Empathy, empathy, empathy. Rock on.